You ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Always Open. We're so glad you're here. I'm your host, Barbara Dunkelman, and today I'm joined by two of my favorite, loveliest ladies I've ever met, starting with...
Hi, I'm DefinedByKy, and that was some intro. Oh my
yeah.
god!
Hype you up.
I was like, oh, I'm favorite this? That's a you know a lot of people.
It's a high bar.
Thank you.
We also have...
Oh, hi. It's BlackKrystel, or better known as BK.
Yeah! Hi, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Your
this is
first
awesome.
Always Open episode.
Mm-hmm.
I've been... ever since you guys started at this company, I've been waiting to bring Always Open back so I could have you guys on. It's been such a long time in the making.
I'm so excited. I just started guesting when you had announced that it was ending.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, timing.
I did it on purpose.
How dare you?
I had to make you want it.
Yeah, I had the yearn. The yearn was real.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I'm actually
Yeah.
really honored to be here. I've heard a lot about the show. Might have listened here or there. So
Well, thank you. We try. We try to make it entertaining. Lot to get into today. I love to start the show off ever since the last episode. It's a new thing I'm doing.
Oh God.
With just we call them litmus tests questions. It's basically a question that there's no right answer, but it does say a lot about who you are as a person. Potentially.
Oh gosh.
What if I don't want you to know who I am as a person?
You're on Always Open, baby. People are gonna know.
Oh
So the question is, let me pull it up so I can get the exact wording here.
God.
God.
How do you get it
Oh
on?
no.
Oh no, don't be scared.
I'm like
It really is.
bracing.
I'm
like,
thinking
hold my hand, hold my hand.
I like how I'm hyping this up as if it's going to be some groundbreaking question.
It's like, what is your favorite color?
It's
that's
close
easy.
to something like that.
Okay.
Do you have a strong opinion
Oh,
on
God.
whether or not a flat sheet is necessary on a bed?
Technically, that's a yes or no question that doesn't need explanation.
That's true, but
Do you have a strong opinion?
So the flat sheet being, for those of you who don't know bedding as well as other people, you got the sheet that hugs around the corners of the bed,
The fitted sheet.
fitted sheet, and then the flat sheet is the one that goes in between that and the comforter.
Yeah.
So usually you sleep between the fitted sheet and the flat sheet.
Yes.
Never heard it called a flat sheet. Like my mind, you
Top
said
sheet?
that, and I go, what? Yeah, top sheet,
Top
flat
sheet?
sheet. I'm like, what is it opposed to a bumpy
I
sheet?
call it a sheet.
A wrinkled sheet,
I was so confused.
which all my sheets are at this
Okay.
point. Let's be real.
My answer is I'm not of strong opinion,
Okay.
but I don't need it.
No?
I almost never make up my bed with it. It's just existing, laying there.
So you just go fitted sheet, comforter.
Yeah, because anytime I try, like every few months I'll be like, it's there. I'll
Mhm.
try. Be like the hotel management.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it just, the way it slides off immediately.
Yeah.
And it's just moving around. And now you're no longer wrapped up like a burrito. You're wrapped up like you're tangled in some web and some cob sheets. It's just,
Cob sheets.
Yeah, cob sheets. It's just easier to just not have it.
Uh-huh. Okay. Interesting.
Good.
So you don't use one.
No.
Do you own one and just don't put it on?
It's currently on the side of my bed.
No.
So it's
because it's there because I used it again. I recently did the test to see if I could use it, and then I couldn't, and now it's currently next to my bed,
okay.
ready for the next test.
There you go. What about you, BK?
Judging by my facial expressions, clearly I'm taken aback by Kai's response.
You're a top sheeter?
I listen. There's a way to make the bed, and if you make it properly and you tuck it in and you fold the corners, you are always a comfy little burrito in the bed. Okay,
Comfy little burrito.
all right. Listen, I understand if you're a fling your legs around sleeper and the sheet goes willy nilly or whatever, but there's something about when you're in the middle of the night and you get all too toasty. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be like free balling, just naked on your bed, no blankie.
I mean,
just
speak for yourself, baby.
Okay.
That's what I'm like.
you know,
She's
you
making
just-
a lot of assumptions.
you take the comforter off and you always have that sheet there to cover you. So you're always covered, whether you're hot, whether you're cold.
It is a good temperature regulation.
That's why I like it.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Don't get me wrong. Like I already have struggles trying to put the fitted sheet on to begin with.
It's the worst.
Let alone making sure I remember to put on the other sheet. But it comes in the sheet set. Like I just can't imagine getting the sheet set, putting the fitted sheet on, looking at the other flat
Tossing
sheet
the other one away.
and being like, nah.
No. So I don't toss it away. What
So
I do,
you own it still.
I own it. So what I use it for when my guests come, because they need a sheet, of course. You know, if they want to sleep on an air mattress.
Oh,
or
so
they
that's
want to
like
sleep on a
their fitted
couch,
sheet.
That is their fitted sheet, and then I have a cover to give them on top because no one just sleeps on the couch. Bare bones,
Right,
no,
you gotta
that
have
doesn't
something.
exist.
Okay.
Exactly. And to BK's point of regulating your temperature, first of all, I don't get hot because I'm always cold. And second of all, even if I were a little warm, that's what the one leg out for is, baby.
That's
one
true.
leg out the comforter.
Yep.
You let that one leg out, and
You're
suddenly your
perfect.
entire I don't know. It's because I know hands and feet are the things that like heat the most.
Uh-huh.
That 1 foot out, that one toe,
That's
That's
like
all you
turn
need.
on the AC.
that's all I need.
Yeah.
It's like turning on the AC.
There is something funny. I use a top sheet.
Okay.
But that's only because our comforter is like, we have a king bed. So it's like too hard to wash that comforter.
Yeah.
And so the top sheet, you just have to wash that guy if it's
Yeah.
between you and the comforter. But sometimes what we do is we tuck it in so tightly that you almost feel like you're mummified.
That's how it is
in
in
there.
every hotel.
Like a little booty?
Oh my god.
It could be really comfortable, but it could also
Yeah.
kind of suck sometimes.
I'll say in lower of the top sheet, because I agree. When I have the top sheet there and I'm first getting under, I'm like, this is nice. And then it lasts the night. And then now I'm upset. So I don't do it again.
What about fancy pillows?
Absolutely. I am a pillow queen.
I have a whole bunch of pillows and then they're on the floor when I'm
okay.
sleeping.
I am like an anime girl. Like I'm like inside them. They're surrounding
You're
me.
like a fork.
She's a caterpillar.
Yes. Like a
Okay.
caterpillar.
And is that how you sleep?
Yes.
Like,
like
you have a partner?
well, listen. It doesn't matter, okay?
It's all about the pillows.
It's all about the pillows. The pillows are my partner. Body pillows?
You got to be comfy.
Come on. I have like
I mean-
3 of them.
Yeah.
And they have
Body
different
pillows?
Yeah, and they have different little anime waifus you put on the cover.
Who are your anime body pillows? I'm having all sorts of bed
This
questions.
is a great litmus test.
Yeah, Himiko Toga from My Hero Academia.
Yes.
I love her
Best
very
girl.
much.
Best girl.
I remember the first time I ever saw our Ruby characters as body pillows, and I was just like, "This feels wrong."
Yeah, they're very young.
Yeah. And, well, now I think they're technically legal. I think Ruby is
Technically?
18.
Anytime you say technically, that's a problem.
Because is she?
Maybe. Probably not at the time of seeing this body pillow.
Absolutely not.
Hey, in the comments below, let us know.
Let us
I'm
know.
pretty sure they got their licenses early, and they were still. I'm pretty sure they were still in high school when everything went to shit. I'm like, is she?
All right. Well, thank you for indulging me in that. I love asking nonsensical questions
That's a good
Let's keep it
question.
going.
and judging people for their answers. So we do have some questions from the audience that we're going to get into on this episode. And if you have questions for us for the show, you could email alwaysopen@roosterteeth.com. Send them in, baby. So first question for us. I was hoping you could help me figure out how I could possibly meet someone to date. I have the issue where I'm a complete introvert, hate big outings, and always prefer as little people as possible when I go out. And I work a 3rd shift, so my days are weird. I've never been able to find the courage to ask people I meet when out and about, just because I feel like I'll bother them. On top of all that, I was a military brat, so I was always moving, and now I've lived in an entirely new city for a year and a half. How could someone like me, who has barely dated throughout their life, find someone to be with?
Boy, do I have a story for you. Big same. Big same here.
Single life?
For so long.
Yeah.
So long. I think in my entire lifetime, I've had one official partner.
For how long?
2 years. But
Okay.
it was also high school sweetheart. So I've essentially been single my entire adult life.
Okay.
Sound like the start of a rom-com.
Yeah. So when I find that one that
Watch
breaks
out.
the cycle,
Yep.
marry me. My mom has actually told me, not to distract from the question, my mom has actually told me, I feel like the next guy you meet, like seriously, will be the man you marry because you just don't give men a chance. And I'm like, you're right. I don't.
You have high standards.
High standards.
There's
and
nothing
just-
wrong with that.
I think it's just also a matter of, and for this is speaking for me personally, with time, I'm very purposeful with my time.
Okay.
And I just know what I hate. And I hate small talk. I hate the idea of dating. I hate, but which sucks because I am a hopeless romantic. Like, I love the rom-com.
What does the idea of dating mean to you?
So it used to mean dating for marriage.
Okay.
Honestly. And since then it's changed. I now realize that dating and kind of even just feelings can just be for fun.
Okay.
But even then, what most people find fun, I don't. I don't. Like,
what do you mean?
For so many femmes that I know personally, they're just like, free meal? Fun, right? But I'm like, free meal is fun, except for the fact that I gotta pretend I cannot say that. I hate small talk. I gotta pretend.
Which sucks because the majority of dating, especially when you're first starting out, is essentially a
Small
job
talk.
interview.
So if in a perfect world, that friends to lover pipeline, that would be me.
So it's ideally someone who you might already know and be somewhat familiar with or friendly with, and then okay.
Honestly, I definitely have a type.
Okay.
And it's a type that gives me comfort, but it's a very toxic type because it gives me comfort. My type is short kings. And people don't know what that means. You know what that means because of your face. Short kings are men who, because they're short, or I should say mass, because they're short, typically are compensating for their shortness by being funny. But through being funny, they're also hiding like a toxic past.
Oh, this is so layered.
This is very deep.
But you know a lot of people. Did you not think of someone?
I thought of 5 people immediately.
Exactly. So it's someone who is shorter, funny, but they use their funny to hide their toxic past.
Hopefully, you could find someone without a toxic past.
My goal is
That'd be nice.
The reason why I'm so single right now is because my goal is to currently date someone taller and older than me because I've never done that.
Oh, okay.
So what do you do though if you're such a type and you don't do things for fun? What do you do? I thought I knew you. I didn't know going on Always Open was going to reveal so many layers.
I mean, it always opens a new door to someone.
I see now. I understand.
I love how this is turning into me. Like, we have a whole person.
Oh, no, I mean, we got a whole show. We'll get to it. Don't worry. It's all built up for
This is me sharing my similar experiences so that way you understand that, one, you're not alone. Dating sucks.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
It's also tough.
It's tough. And honestly, our friend Cat Scratch, who I hope you have on the show one day.
Absolutely.
Fantastic,
We're 100% going to get
told me and BK something really good when we all went to our femme brunch together, is that with how media portrays love, it's this thing that's always passionate, always going, you always look for it. But in reality, when it's that's typically when it's toxic. Whereas it should be like, it's hard because you are committing yourself to one person for the rest of your life. But the idea of choosing that person shouldn't be hard because they should be your best friend.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But, sometimes it takes a while to get there. To find that person.
It does, which is why.
Find the right comfort.
Years later.
And also, I feel this. I picked this question in particular because, you guys are also new to Austin. Moved here from different places in the U.S. Within the last few years. And so it's like, that idea of even making friends and going out into the world where you're so unfamiliar with the people and the social circles and stuff like that, it can be very overwhelming.
Yeah, it's very intimidating. Like, especially when you are moving to a new place, or maybe you're really consumed or wrapped up in your job. Like a lot of times I'm like doing a job or I do a job after. So I feel for the third shift where you're like, your schedule's weird. I was like, let me tell you about my schedule. All right.
You also, I guess, kind of have a third shift, right? With streaming and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like, I very much get it. And being intentional with your time, like Kai said, is very important. But when you are a little, apprehensive to kind of go out there, I think it's more than just being careful with your time. I think there's a little bit of like fear there.
Yeah.
And I think
100%.
it's fair. I think what makes it harder is, kind of getting that anxiety over the fear. A lot of times you do have to tackle it. You have to accept that you're going to be afraid. You have to accept that it's going to be hard and kind of find spaces that are comfortable for you. I feel like that's kind of like the first step. Like, find where you're okay being, where you are comfortable being out and about, and work on your comfortability. Because what I find attractive is when someone is comfortable with themselves and with what they're doing. I'm not going to be attracted to someone who I can see is clearly out of their comfort zone.
Doesn't want to be there.
Doesn't want to be there. They're annoyed or they're nervous and they look uncomfortable. And I'm not like, oh, I don't like you, but like, I want you to be good. I want you to be okay. So if a bookshop is your vibe, like go
Hang
to
out there,
hang
yeah.
out there. That's your start, or online. I mean, most of my earlier relationships were from Xbox Live. I'm not kidding.
I had a couple strictly online
Yeah.
relationships. My first ever relationship was actually someone from the roosterteeth.com website.
Oh,
Yeah, that was like my first ever boyfriend.
I mean, but you have your mutual interests. You find that place or your location where you're like comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, we're playing games. We can already have something to talk about. I don't have to force that small talk. Like I said, I don't have to talk about random stuff. No, we're talking about the game. You're trash.
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to be better. Let's play this game together. And
It's
now,
also a good like test of if you're compatible in a sense because you're having a shared interest moment, and also if they're able to take the trash talk or like whatever it
Right.
is, like you find ways where you're able to tell if there's compatibility in a sense there. So that's a really good tip. Gaming, I didn't even think about that.
That's it.
You don't even have to leave your house.
you don't.
to date.
Discord? Let me tell you about Discord real quick. That is a home away from home.
Getting some
Don't
head
date
chicks.
on. Don't
Don't.
do that. Don't.
Not if you're someone who doesn't go outside. You're introverted. You don't really have a place where you can talk to your
A
friends.
lot of Discord communities and stuff. I think that people meet each other on. It's the same way with like online dating. Maybe not the same as online dating, but like people who meet through Xbox Live or who meet through gaming communities or other communities and stuff like that, where they just bond over a shared interest and there's already that comfortability there. I think that's definitely viable. No, do you disagree?
Maybe not the best. I'm looking at
I'm
that
getting
face.
some pondering.
Same.
I don't know what I want to say here.
Okay. You can think on it.
Yeah.
So for this question, the person who wrote in said that they hate big outings and prefer as little people as possible when you go out. I think there's places that you could hang out and socialize that kind of fit that vibe, whether it be like a coffee shop or a bookstore, or anything like that that's kind of a little more low key rather than going to a bar or a club, which is not everyone's vibe. But
Definitely not my vibe in certain places. It's so hard to find your speed. Like when you go to a bar, like let alone all the talking and all the overstimulus, but like the ambiance, it has to be particular. And like not all bars are like bars you go to talk to people. Like sometimes you're there to eat and it can be awkward going by yourself. And then you need to find a friend that would be comfortable going with you. And it's like, it's a lot of heavy asks. Like I'm very anti going to a bar for dating, or like don't go to a club when you're looking for the one.
It's also tough because I know, speaking like from my personal experience, I didn't really like getting hit on or picked up on at bars or clubs, even if I was single. It's just like I don't go out necessarily looking for someone to date or someone to hook up with when I'm doing that. It's more of like me wanting to hang out with my friends. And so it's really hard to know. I know the struggle because there's only so many places and ways you could meet people. But I it's tough to know what people are expecting and what people want when they're out.
Totally.
I mean, in any situation, even at a coffee shop, you can't just like go up to someone and be like, "Hey, can I get your number?" Like, have a conversation maybe first.
That's why it's honestly really interesting to hear you say, because yes, you go with the intention of something.
Yeah.
But something that, my mom has taught me, and something that I agree with, honestly, is that you never know where you're going to meet your life partner.
It's true.
So there's been so many occasions where, she'll get mad. She's more traditional. Well, not traditional, but she is traditional in the sense of like, don't go somewhere wearing your bonnet, like even the airport. Because I used to wear my bonnet to the airport all the time. Because I'm like, the point of the airport is just to get somewhere. And once I'm there, I'll look good. But she's like, you never know where you're going to meet someone, you're going to see someone.
That is the most typical mom like
Yes.
to anyone.
Don't go to the corner store in your flats, in your
Yes.
pajamas,
Yeah,
your
get
sweats.
dolled up whenever you go anywhere. You never know.
It's not even dolled up. She was just like, you are a cute girl. So you should make sure that is always shown in every light.
Well, I think you're cute no matter what, even in a bonnet.
You've never seen me in a bonnet.
But I have, and you look a fly as hell.
That's what I'm
girl.
saying.
Okay.
Listen, it be laying the edges. But not to get us off topic, but something else I want to bring up, because there was another point they had in there about walking up to people and approaching them.
Yeah, so they said, I've never been able to find the courage to ask people I meet when I'm out, just because I feel like I'll bother them, they say.
So, big same. But something, I don't remember who told me this, but it's something that has completely changed how I go about talking to people. Again, I don't date a lot, but I be talking. And that is simply if you never approach the people you want, you will only ever be approached by people that want you, not the people you want.
Oh, interesting.
So it's one of those situations where you're essentially the box you're picking from is now smaller. You are no longer thinking outside the box where you're putting your choices in. Now it's everyone that picks you is the only option you have because you are not allowing yourself to pick. So that has helped me a lot. So on dating apps, I'm not afraid now to like make the first move, call someone cute, be like, yo, so when you taking me out on some stuff.
I love it.
If it's very rare it comes to anything just because time and again, small talk, but it has allowed me to start more conversations with people that I like and know I would want to get to know than to be up in the air about, well, do I want to date this person or not? Because they picked me versus me picking them.
There's also something to be said for shooting your shot, even if you'll get rejected, which I think a big part of this, I'm assuming, is fear of rejection, which we all have to a degree. But what's that Wayne Gretzky quote of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take?
Yes.
You never know. And also, I'm a firm believer of anything that passes by you isn't meant for you. And so if you approach someone and they're not interested, they're not meant for you.
And you dodged a bullet.
Yeah. You want to be with someone who's interested in you. Maybe not initially. Who knows?
I mean, I say this often on my stream. I want someone obsessed with me. I absolutely want someone obsessed with me.
And at worst comes to worst, there's a pickup line. That's my favorite pickup line.
Ooh.
So this one's for free. You go up to someone, you say, hey, my friend over there thinks you're cute. And then you run over to the spot you're pointing at and you stand there and you smile. That would work on anybody, I guarantee you.
If it were you delivering that line,
yes.
Anybody who does.
I don't know. I my favorite ways to, I hate to say it like pick up because it isn't. It's more like starting a conversation. And I feel like the line that really like rubbed me the wrong way in this like question is that you don't want to be a bother. I've heard a lot of people in my life recently been saying that about their social anxiety, and I guess I'm learning to understand it more. And it makes me so sad because I'm a New Yorker. Listen, I don't want no one looking at my face. That bothers me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you come down here in Austin where like everyone's very talkative, even if it is, oh, how do you have a good day? You too. That can be your start, right? Like every time you talk is you're practicing and you're not bothering me. You have to do a lot to really truly bother someone. So it's like kind of like internal pressure where you're like, oh, I'm going to say something and they're really going to be annoyed. I assume that's what you think. And I'm like, if you are nice and you project that positivity, I don't think
100%.
anyone will be bothered.
Because I'll be fully honest, moving from New York, where you can't walk down the street without getting catcalled, to moving to Austin, where I'll go out maybe once every other week, right?
Yeah.
And not get hit on once, because people in Texas are different. They do not approach you. They do not hit you up. And honestly, I'm more bothered by the fact that I see you staring at me for 30 minutes and you're not coming up to say anything. Like that bothers me more than you.
They're cowards.
Exactly. Then not coming up. Because I'm like, if you're going to stare, then speak.
They're probably just, like this person you wrote and
Exactly.
just like worried about bothering. But I think, BK, I 100% agree with what you're saying. I think if you approach anybody in a respectful, polite, nice way and respect, if they're like, oh, I'm not interested, or, I'm not looking for anyone right now, or I'm dating someone, as long as you're respectful with that, I think like give it a shot. Like just be nice.
I think also the pressure of thinking that when you approach someone, it has to be like the shot.
Yeah.
The end all be all. Start small. Your shoes are really cute. And that's all you say.
They are cute.
Next time you go out, you see like you approach someone and you compliment them on something. Like that's my go-to, because sometimes you can really like, one, cheer up somebody's day.
Yeah.
But two, a nice compliment that isn't about your body or like a physical attribute can go a really long way and make you think about what you're into, what about that person stands out to you. Maybe it wasn't just how cute they are. Maybe it was their style. Maybe it was you're wearing an anime shirt. I like that anime. Just wanted to see.
Or what is that anime?
What is that anime? Or that art style's cute. Like there's ways to kind of initiate that conversation without it being like that big ol', I've got to shoot my shot. I've got to prove to them I'm interesting and cool.
Baby
and
steps.
Yeah, one at a time.
I also agree. I think there's something really sweet to be said about someone complimenting a thing that you clearly put effort into or thought into.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, your outfit is really cute, or I love the way you did your hair, or those glasses are really, like, really cool.
Oh, I realized you're complimenting me.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
like,
just like,
she said hair.
It took you
outfit.
that long?
Glasses. I'm wearing glasses. Oh,
just like,
me.
stuff like that where it shows like you're not talking about like, oh, like you're really beautiful or this, and like stuff that's very typical, which isn't a bad thing to do
Sure.
if that's, the type of compliment you want to give someone. But I think starting small and simple and not expecting it to necessarily go anywhere, but just getting in the habit of talking to people and approaching people, even in very simple ways. But it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Military brat too, so they've been moving around a lot. So being in a new city, hey, perfect time to start from scratch.
I say, you would think that being a military brat means that you're used to it because you move around so much. But at the end of the day, you are who you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I like to think of life as a book that has a beginning and end, but chapters along the way. And this is just your next chapter. So it's up to you to decide what the pages are filled with. And if you feel comfortable staying inside, which I don't think you do because of the fact that you submitted this note to us, then
Shows you're open.
Exactly.
Right. You're trying. You want to try.
Then I just recommend, to BK's point, of just try new things. Something I love doing in New York, which I don't know if it's possible here, but maybe you can find something to go back and forth with. I would just walk around my neighborhood because in New York, literally, if you walk around for 10 minutes, you'll pass 20 different buildings. And through walking around, you can find maybe there's a Pilates shop and you want to try Pilates.
Ooh,
maybe there's a improv class. You can start improving. Like BK said, go to bookstores, go to coffee shops. But for me, I don't like going places without intention.
Sure.
So maybe if there's something you're into or you even want to try and it's an activity, try that activity because I'm sure you'll join a class and through that class you'll meet people and those people may have friends and those friends may be your future partner. I'm just saying there's different options and different lines of ways that it can work out.
100%. Yeah, there's something to be said for clubs and classes too, like you mentioned.
Yeah, or volunteering.
Like that's one
Volunteering,
thing
yeah.
that schools had that
I
they
know.
really say good luck when you're an adult.
I know.
They have all these extracurriculars, all these classes you can take, all these electives, and then when you're an adult, they're just like, good luck continuing those hobbies.
I wish they had stuff like that. I guess they do to a degree for adults, but like
you have to
money.
like hunt for them.
I
Not
know.
only money, but like where? Like
Mhm.
sometimes like, marketing or advertisement is very
Yeah.
localized. Like, oh, I don't mind driving 30, 40 minutes out of the way for this particular vibe or this activity, but I didn't know it existed.
yeah.
So
It's
You don't
tough.
know what you don't know. Like,
Right.
how would I know that I would love to go paddle? I didn't know what paddleboarding was, so I got to Texas. And I
Hell
tried it for the first
yeah.
time. It was so much fun.
It's fun. Have you been paddleboarding?
I
before?
haven't yet.
Oh, we should go on a little paddleboarding trip.
We should do paddleboarding. We should go tubing on the lake. Like, there's so many
Yes.
things. There's so many Texas things I haven't done yet. And I've been here a year.
I know. And also, I think, like, you said you like doing things with intention, but I think there's also something to be said for just, going about your life, doing things that make you happy and that you want to do, and running into people who happen to be doing the same things. Like, I think if you're like, I'm going to go to this coffee shop and sit around and look for, like, an attractive person to see if I could approach them, that might put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, I'm going to go to the coffee shop and, like, work on my laptop and just, like, hang out for the day and see what happens.
You said that and I immediately thought of the show You. Have you watched that?
I have not, but I know what it's about.
Okay. Well, I'll just leave that there for anyone who wants to dabble. But
Yeah.
please maybe double think about going to search for that partner.
Yeah.
Like it will happen. The universe works in like mysterious ways.
does.
Sometimes when you put too much of that intention into it, it can kind of like backfire in a way.
Or just make you feel overwhelmed and like you have to like essentially do like check this list off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot. Well, good luck to you who wrote in. Let us know how things go. Feel free
Please.
to write us again, follow up in a few weeks or months if you find any luck or anything like that.
You'll probably find it before I do. So you're fine.
You're in a race now with Kai.
Yeah. No, you won. You won. Yeah, you won.
Hey, maybe you two could date. No, I'm just kidding.
I actually, it's something I was thinking of. They didn't mention gender of any sort. So while you all were talking, I was just like, wow. Like a lot of things that were being said, I'm like, I don't know if that works for all gender roles.
I think
as
it
well.
does.
Some things I was like, I don't know. Because if I just go to a cafe by myself and sit down, I've had situations where I've done that and it has not turned out okay. I have been stalked before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Always
it's just,
gotta be aware of your surroundings.
exactly.
No matter who you are. Be
Mhm.
safe. It's getting to the point in Texas where you pretty much need to be in sunglasses every time you go outside. But it's been really hard for me to find a go-to pair of sunglasses that aren't constantly getting tangled up in my hair. Luckily, our friends at Shady Rays have a new tangle-free aviators that have a patent-pending nose piece that they designed specifically to avoid tangling. I mean, look at these sunglasses. They're incredible. They're stylish. They're incredible aviators that I wear all the time. And I don't know if you could see from here, but this little tangle-free nose piece, there's no holes in it, so it doesn't get tangled in your hair. You can put them up on top of your head, slide them back onto your face, tangle-free. It's incredible. Cannot recommend enough for anyone who has long hair especially, but any type of hair that might get tangled up in your sunglasses. It's perfect. Wonderful. Chef's kiss. Plus, Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. And if you don't love your pair, you could exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Just head over to shadyrays.com/tanglefree and use the code OPEN for 30% off their best-selling tangle-free aviators and much more. Save before they sell out and try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Enjoy your new sunglasses, my friends. I was lucky enough to see Evil Dead Rise at the South by Southwest premiere, and you guys, it was one of the scariest movies I've seen pretty much ever. It's one of those movies that you have to see with a crowd. Everyone was on edge. They were on the edge of their seat, grasping each other, and at times screaming, myself included, especially during those really intense parts. In case you don't already know, Evil Dead Rise is the 5th installment in the iconic Evil Dead franchise. It's directed by Lee Cronin and stars Lily Sullivan, Alyssa Sutherland, Morgan Davies, Gabrielle Eccles, and newcomer Nell Fisher. The movie follows 2 estranged sisters who are reuniting for the first time in a while, but their reunion turns, let's say, less than ideal when flesh-possessing demons enter the picture. We had such an amazing time seeing this movie, and like I said, one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. I think I was white-knuckling Trevor the whole time as I was holding his hand, blocking my eyes a little bit for some of the scenes, but so much fun to see, especially in a theater with other people who are big horror movie fans. Could not recommend it enough. It was so much fun. So get your tickets now to see Evil Dead Rise in theaters on April 21st. You could head to evildeadrisemovie.com to watch the trailer and learn more about the movie. Enjoy! That was my spooky voice. Next question.
Ooh.
I think you guys will have some interesting input on this one.
Oh,
it's a
God.
bit of a longer one. So
Okay.
This one reads, I'm about to turn 26, and I've worked as a wedding photographer and videographer since 2019 and have been fairly successful, earning about $45K a year with most of the winter off. However, I burned out on weddings about a year ago, and I had to trudge through the past year to fulfill my contractual obligations. I decided I wouldn't take any on in 2023 to see if my mental and physical health improves. I still love working with couples, seniors, and families, so I'm still offering those shoots, but I'm feeling the pull of a career change. Here's my issue. I consider myself a Swiss Army knife when it comes to my interests and skill sets. In college, I took classes in radio and broadcast, film, photography, graphic and web design, journalism, writing, marketing, etc. But now that I'm feeling ready for the next thing, I don't know where or how to start. I want to do voice acting and acting work, but I also want to write. I want to pursue being a lighting designer for games, but I also love creating content. I'm not afraid of failing. I'm simply lost as to how I even get my foot in one of any of these doors. Are we relating here?
As someone who's 25 and entered the gaming industry on accident, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, to say the least. And the thing is, this is so monumental for everyone. Because even I talked to my mother, who is a principal in her 50s, who talks about career change, seeing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it can happen at any point of time where you're just tired of going through the waves of emotion. And honestly, I really wish that life was as flexible as dreams make it out to be. Because in a real world, it's like, it's your life. You have, again, beginning and end, write the chapters. But unfortunately, there are bills. There are responsibilities. So there are
have the luxury
exactly.
of, you know,
there are people with
off.
privilege
Sure.
who can make a switch at the drop of a hat. But there are people who have responsibilities who may not have that capability right away. So I feel for the want and I feel for the need. And I first of all, congrats on making 45K in a year as a wedding photographer with winters off. Like
that is,
I know teachers that don't do that. So that's fantastic. All that to say is I get it. Again, I'm currently in the gaming industry on accident, and it's fully because of the pandemic. I say often that the only reason I started streaming was because no one was hiring for production jobs. The only reason I was on camera was so I could practice learning streaming, digital, producing behind the scenes of my own content, because that's the only content I could create at the time.
yeah.
And through that, now I'm here. But it's definitely one of those situations where when everything you've studied for is something that you're now tired of, what do you turn to? It's almost like me and BK have had this conversation. When your job is now video games, and that was your escape, what's your escape now?
So does that happen for you too, where because you do streaming professionally and also work here where you do gaming content professionally, does it feel like games are no longer that escape for you, or do you still feel like you find the games that do help you relax or you can unwind with kind of behind the scenes?
So I have an answer, and my answer is that I think, BK, you've definitely done this longer, so I feel like you found a genre of games that isn't touched yet when you do things. So I know you're always gaming, and you got your weeb content, you're good.
Yeah.
But for me, as someone who grew up watching other people play video games and is now trying to find what works for me, I say often I get very hyperfixated on a game I'm really into. Like right now, I'm doing Breath of the Wild for the first time, so I'm very hyperfixated on that. But as soon as that game's over, I'm just like, now what?
Now what? Yeah.
So I get into those spells essentially every other month or every month where I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what brings me joy anymore. I don't know what brings me happiness, and I get stuck.
Understandable.
Yeah, I think it was very intentional for me to kind of separate the games that I play for others and the games I have for me. And sometimes there's a lot of pull where people are like, oh, but I really want to see you play that. And I go,
right.
No, Horizon Forbidden West is my game, and I'm going to play this game on my own time, and I'm going to take my time with it, and I'm going to have fun with it. So I've had to really kind of separate those and kind of keep things for me. But when you are like a jack of all trades, I'd like to say, I like how they said Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
But I think I am very much that too. Like not only do I game, I'm a musician, I'm a writer. I did photography before this.
You love anime and like that whole culture.
Too much, like to the point where I have been told a lot, or I've had my manager ask me, what do you want to do? Or the last job I had, one of my bosses was like, if you keep doing this creator stuff, I don't know how you're going to be able to still do behind the scenes things. And not that you're doing bad at it, but as like a mentor advice, you should choose a path and focus on that for a while. And I had to make that tough decision, and I chose to do on-camera stuff for a while, and I've been loving it. But I've definitely felt that sentiment of being like, I want to do other things. I want to write a light novel, big time.
Yeah.
I want to produce an anime. I have like really crazy ideas. And when people ask me this all the time, we're like, I want to do these things. I want to do voice acting. It's the worst but best advice. Like I hate myself when I say it, but you have to just do it. Like I hate saying it because it seems so simple, like, but it really is true. Like you have to start doing what you want to do, because one, you're going to learn what you like about it, what might be hard about it, what is needed in order to accomplish it. Like now that I know if I want to do voice acting, I'm going to need a reel. I'm going to need to practice on different voices. I need to record myself doing it. I need to do it in front of people. I need to learn how to make death noises. Like
that's an important one.
Yeah. Things of that nature a lot of the time, and do it for a hobby. Like Kai said, you started gaming. It was a hobby to practice those skills, to kind of go off and flex your abilities. And then you found a way to kind of turn that into the career path, monetize that. Like taking that pressure, feeling like you have to jump into an industry or jump into a new career, I feel
and stick with it forever.
It's the biggest inhibitor in exploring your options. Treat it as a hobby while you can. Maybe you do your wedding photos on the side still for
just
a
to
while.
Make some money.
Right.
To like essentially fund the other hobbies you want to try?
Yeah, dive in, take some classes. We said that earlier. There are classes out there. There are voice acting workshops. Like if you've got your 45K, no offense, put a little bit of that to the side and
There you go.
invest in exploring that industry.
Yeah.
It's a good first step.
Agreed. 100%. We get questions like this sometimes, and it's always so interesting because I think there's this societal pressure on so many people, especially like our generation, where you have to decide what you want to do in life so early on. Like even in high school, they're just like, you're whittling down on the
what's your
courses you
major?
want to take.
What are you doing?
What's your major in college going to be? And I'm like, I'm going to be 18. Like, I don't
no
know.
idea.
So like for me personally, I picked something where I felt like it was generic enough that it could go in different directions.
Wait, can I ask?
It was marketing.
Wow, okay, that was smart. I chose philosophy and Asian studies.
Very specific.
Look where I am now.
Exactly. But that's a great example though. Like what you studied has pretty much nothing to do with your career path.
Or does
now.
it?
It definitely
does it?
does. You're a liar.
Yeah, that's true.
Asian studies. She went to study abroad in Japan. She can speak fluent Japanese. Now knows the anime stuff. Now does the nerd stuff. And then all that translates to the things she talks about in her content.
Yeah, and philosophy helped me with public speaking and
Yes.
writing. So a lot of writing, a lot
That's
of
true.
public speaking.
I mean, it all goes into it, but I mean, like you're not a philosophy
I'm
teacher.
not a
or-
professor. No.
Yeah.
I
So-
think-
There's something that like
or a
it helps,
lawyer.
but-
Yeah,
No.
I think something that pertains to this conversation is that it doesn't matter. Study whatever you want
Mhm.
because everything goes in every direction.
True.
You are tired of wedding photography? Cool. You know what you could photograph? Of so many other things. You know how many brands need like there's products to be taken pictures? You want to do voice acting? Take picture. Go to conventions. Take pictures of people in their cosplays. Like
Cosplayers.
that's your professional media badge. So you get there for free. I'm just trying to tell you. To cheat the
I was about to put you on
I was
right
gonna say,
now.
she's all the
and then
ideas.
while
here.
you're there, because I was at Level Up Expo recently, and there were so many voice actors there, so many people in the comic industry there. So writing, I actually went to a panel about diversity in writing comics. So there's writing comics. There's truly so many ways that you could take, in just this example specifically, photography, and utilize it as a catalyst for these other things.
Mm-hmm.
Your hobby is a medium. It is not who you are.
That part.
And through building it and figuring out, well, if I want to go in that direction, how can photography get you there? Because if that's what you are now and that's what you're known for, then don't think of it as something you have to throw away. Use it as a catalyst to continue
100%,
building yourself.
Yeah.
That's a really strong word. I like that.
Yeah,
Catalyst.
definitely. Agreed. Great.
Mhm.
Great notes on that. I also I want to commend this person because they mentioned that they're not afraid of failing
Mm.
and they just don't know essentially how to get a foot in the door of any of these things. I think there's this like idea that to be happy, you need to be in a career that like fulfills you and that like you need to be doing what you love every
Yeah.
day.
Totally.
And I think there's something to be said for picking a job or career that essentially pays the bills
Mhm.
and allowing it to give you time and energy and motivation to have these hobbies. So all these things you're interested in, I understand the pull to be like, well, I need to like focus on one if that's what I want to do, but I don't know which one to pick. Try them all.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have that flexible income so far, which I would say if you're doing something you dislike, that's different.
Sure.
Mhm.
So maybe like finding a way to incorporate photography in a different professional manner. But still like trying these things out and seeing what you actually like and what
Yeah.
maybe by doing that you whittle it down to something and then you're like, okay, I really like game design.
Yes.
So like that's what I want to focus on. That's what I want to pursue. And it's never too late either to change your mind.
Something else I also learned, because there was a point where I was very sad and depressed. So through it wasn't hobbies, but even just like everyday daily activities that I had. So I made a list of everything I wanted to do in a day. It included, like brushing your teeth, showering, getting out of bed, taking a walk outside. Like again,
You get up and you go, check.
exactly. But when you are in a place where you are confused about where to move forward, it's hard to look at a long list and say, these are all the things I want to do. And I'm pretty sure, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, that applies here too, where you have this list of everything you want to try and you're saying you don't know where to start. Make that list small. Like I know we're saying don't just choose one and don't, but pick one for now. Try it out. see if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, either keep it going, or when you feel you're starting to get burned out, pause it and start the next thing. Because the easiest way to give yourself anxiety when you want to try a million different things is by doing it all at once, because then you're going to easily
so overwhelmed.
get overwhelmed.
Yep.
And then you're going to say, I didn't like any of this. And that's not true. We only have, and Barb, you sold this to me recently.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 100% of ourselves to give at all times. So if you have 10 activities and you give 10% to each, I highly doubt you're going to enjoy any of them.
Yeah, you're going to feel like you're being stretched too thin.
Exactly.
Across all of them.
So take your time in figuring out what you want to do. Be open to failing. Be open to succeeding. As long as you're having fun, you'll figure out what's meant for you.
And again, you could switch at any time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
There's so many people, like some authors really hit their stride at like 60.
Yep.
You know, like that's when they write their first amazing novel. And now they're a writer. So it's like there's never a time where you're like, well, it's too late to change direction, or I feel like I've spent too much time and money and effort on this one thing to change. There's the sunken cost fallacy where,
Right.
you know, we talked about it on previous episodes where you've spent so much of your time or money or whatever it is on something where you're like, well, I don't want to change directions now because I've already spent so much time on this.
No.
Screw that.
No, you're
Try
right.
it.
I
Change
forget
it.
what the official term is, but it is a something skill. Transferable skills.
Ooh.
Nothing is a waste of time because you have gained skills that can be transferred to something else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. They said they want to do game lighting design. Like they didn't say they want to be a developer. Like they clearly have
That
explored
must be what they
things.
love in photography.
They love lighting, maybe in photography. They're already kind of starting to apply different things in different places. So the fact that you know specifically what you want to do in an industry like that is, I feel like you're already ahead of the game. Like you need to give
Definitely.
And
yourself
the fact
a
that
little
you already
bit of,
have examples in a medium, it might not be the same medium, but in a medium of you lighting subjects,
Mhm.
you're already one step ahead of someone who
Yeah.
wants to do that and has no experience doing any form of lighting.
listen, there are free like applications and software out there to get you into game development very, very early on. Just demo around, fiddle around with. I have friends like now who have been messing with 3D modeling as their hobby. I don't think they want to be developers, but they love playing with it. And we as a group have all talked, we're like, so like, when are we making our video game though?
Right.
Like, I was like, I will voice
You
half
got
of
the
the
voice acting?
characters. I can help with the writing. Okay. And be like, okay, so you've got the characters, you're the mechanics. Okay, got it. I have my friend who does coding. He's like in school for engineering, but like,
that.
I was like, we could have a team here.
Absolutely.
You know? Find your tribe, I think is a good way to start too. Do you have friends who want to jump into those industries with you? Do you have other
Collaborate
people?
on projects.
Yeah. And just start making stuff, even if it's half made or
Honestly,
30 seconds made.
Finding your tribe is a big one.
Mhm.
Because something that people say often is that you could go far by yourself, but you would go so much farther if you had others to uplift you along the way. And I'm even just thinking about my streaming journey.
Mhm.
That was an idea I started by myself. And funny enough, you said you hate saying it because it's corny, just do it. The reason I started streaming, I've said this many times before, is because I was watching a Fucking Around with Iffy and Fiona. It was it was at the top of the civil rights movement during 2020 when it was Shy and the Geek, Griff, and Fiona. And they read my question of just like, hey, I'm doing production, but there's no productions going on. How do I get in? And they all said, just do it. A month later, I was streaming.
Look at that. Just do it.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing. It's intimidating. Like, and it's not, I don't even think it's the failure. I think it's more of a perfectionist thing where when I want to do it right. So many times I have people ask, oh, I want to be a streamer. How do I stream? I go, stream.
Just start.
Just press play. And then if it isn't what you build your scene live on the air, you know, like it's okay if what we're watching the first time you do it, that's not all that's going to be known of you.
If anything, I think it's a relatable experience watching someone from the ground up start something. And like the idea that everything we consume and see is perfect.
Yeah.
And like you don't see people's struggles or people's mistakes or any time that they failed on something. We typically only see when someone's succeeding at it. So I think there's something to be said for like being able to be vulnerable and open about
And that's why What Else Can I Do from Encanto is my favorite song.
What a perfect button to that
That's
question.
exactly why it's my favorite song.
If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Go watch the film as well.
You'll understand this whole episode after that.
Yes.
So also we're pre-recording this episode, but you two are doing a show on the All Good No Worries channel, which if you're listening to this on audio, platforms, you could watch the full video of this podcast on the All Good No Worries YouTube channel, where we have plenty of shows, including a cozy gaming show that you guys are doing. Hopefully it's been up and out since now.
If you see a jump cut, that means we revealed information we weren't supposed to.
And cut. But yeah, go check it out. I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, I love how, and I also love how we haven't decided on a name yet. So you're like, a cozy gaming show, because we can't even say what it's called yet.
Peek behind the curtain on how early we're recording these episodes. But yeah, go check it out. It's on the All Good No Worries channel. And also, where can people find you guys online as well?
So you can find me at DefinedByKy on essentially every platform. Currently building out my Instagram and my YouTube mostly right now.
Fantastic.
And I'm defined by Kai because only I can define myself in this crazy mixed up world we live in.
I love that.
That's beautiful. I don't. Mine's not that cool.
It's okay. I'm B Dunkelman everywhere. So.
No, you're Bimmy now.
I know, yeah. We're working on the Bimmy.
No, I'm BlackKrystel. You can find me on Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter, doing the thing, playing the games, and just being a weeaboo.
Posting all the weeb content.
Yeah,
I love
being
it.
a big anime fan. And we be hunting achievements every now and then, hanging on the Let's Play channel. So you can find us there if you like gaming.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. And thank you all for watching the show. As a reminder, if you have questions for us, you could send those to alwaysopen@roosterteeth.com. Come check out and subscribe to the All Good No Worries YouTube channel. And if you want to get the show 24 hours early, you could subscribe to first on roosterteeth.com. It would really help support us and the show and everything we are making here. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that episode of Always Open. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and see new episodes every Tuesday, along with other shows every Thursday.